So this is going out to Zach Bryan. I don't know if he's ever going to see this, but it got me thinking on that little, the song he put out about law enforcement, and ICE, and all that stuff. And I wanted to chew on it for a little bit, and come at it from the right perspective. I'm a songwriter here in Nashville, and that's where my journey's at right now. But before that, I wanted to speak on this because, before I moved out here, I was a police officer for over 15 years, and what he communicated resonated a lot with me. And that I'm not going to be, subjective on, the exact topic he's referring to as far as the ICE and immigration stuff, but it's more just the generic idea of the dangers we have when we speak with a fiery tongue and out of emotion, and how it affects, so much more than what you're intending to do. We were talking I go to a Bible study here in Nashville on Tuesdays, and we were working through James today, and I'm talking about how large a forest is and how easily it can be set ablaze with a single spark, and that our tongues are fire and can set such a fire and such a blaze if we're not cognizant what that's going to do and the ramifications of that. And from my experience in law enforcement is that, and my experience and knowledge and faith as a Christian man, there's evil in this world. There's a darkness in this world, and when you speak out the way you did, with obviously there's anger and frustration in your heart about this topic, but what you're doing is you're casting such a shadow against the men and women that pick up that shield and that sword every day to help combat the evil that truly is in this world. And if there's just so much darkness and pain that goes on that most people, for the most part, they have very little experience with law enforcement. But the other side of that coin, and if you saw on the daily, you pick any town, any city, any borough, any village, any place around the world that has human beings in it, you're going to see the same types of pain and suffering. And at least, especially here in America, where their only answer is for folks when they're being victimized or when that wolf comes knocking at the door, their only play is to pick up the phone and call for help. And that help that comes every time is going to be someone wearing a badge. And you may not like the outcome all the time, but guess what? We're humans just like you. We make mistakes, but we can't do things perfect. But the intent is to show up and to stand between that darkness and those who are going to be hurt by it. And I would just pray that Jesus softens your heart on the words you're saying, on casting those stones on in such a broad light, as if every cop out there is trying to just kick a bunch of people while they're down, and if it's as if it's some ego play. That's not what it's about. It's a calling for folks to step up. They feel in their heart and their soul and their bones that there's evil, and that they feel like they've got a small part to play in helping fight that in whatever capacity that is. And when you make statements like that as if we've just got a scorecard out here and trying to just bust down doors to ruin someone's day and ruin their life, because we think we're better than them or something or anything like that. It's just that you couldn't be further from the truth. And the pain, the suffering, that both we for me have been in law enforcement, and those that are still doing it, it's like you carry those scars. So every call you go on, every crash, every homicide, every suicide, every domestic, every assault, every call you go to, you carry those scars along with you, and they add up, and they are real pains and real damage that's done. But they still, suit up every day to go out and do it again. Because if they don't, who will? And so I just pray that I understand that you've got anger in your heart towards this situation, but perspective is the eighth wonder of the world in a lot of ways. And you talk about how these colors fade, but the only color that matters is red, and that was from the blood that Jesus spilt for all of us. We didn't deserve that grace. We didn't deserve that victory over sin. And this battle's not over, but in every little thing we do, you're always planting seeds in everything we do and come across and the people we meet. And so we're known by the fruits that we produce. And I just pray you see that truth and just realize that there's so much good being done by law enforcement every day, and that it's unfortunate that, especially in the days of social media, the only things that get pushed are the negative things or the things that go wrong. And it's like, but hey, that's because the world doesn't want you to see the good things. They will, bad stuff and crazy things, though, and shock and awe. That's what gets pushed with the algorithm, and that's the impression that you're going to put forward with big platforms like you got on, that this is how it is across the board, as if we have secret meetings in the police academy or at briefings about how we're going to go enforce law and power and justice in a way to keep people down. It's not it at all. That's not it. It could be further, and it's disingenuous and dishonoring to everyone that's ever stood up in the face of evil and darkness and criminality in this world. And I hope you see that one day. And I'm sorry if you had a bad experience. But I'm just shooting from the hip here. But I just pray that you realize that, there's so many good people that are doing this job, and it's a thankless job. And we walk out of this job with so many more scars and pains and damage than it's hard to put into words on that burden that is now carried forward. So going forward, I hope you realize that, and that, don't let what, the media and big companies or different government things try to, push agendas on demonizing the folks that are truly the ones that are going to be coming out when you call and need help. And, and for those that are still out there, pushing the cars around and wearing the badge, and, just know that, hey, God bless y'all. Keep the fight. I'm going to do everything I can to keep supporting y'all. Obviously, I'm not on the road anymore or suiting up every day, but in that capacity. But Lord knows I'm forever going to be an advocate for our men and women that stand up against the evils of these worlds, and that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but it's against all the evils and principalities and spirits of this world that are truly running everything. And I just pray that y'all seek Jesus. Jesus is the answer to all this, and we don't deserve his grace, but he gave it anyway with his blood. His blood ran red. And God bless y'all, and just, yeah, that's all I got to say.